Yeah, assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, everyone. Yes, my name is Marufa Omolola Otolori, and I am the founder of Lola Loves Parenting. It's a parenting outfit that has been designed to equip parents with the necessary knowledge, the skills, and the tools to raise wholesome children in this century. And today, inshallah, we're always here on Friday talking about parenting. And today, inshallah, we're going to be talking about setting boundaries that support your energy as a parent. Yes, this month already we said that we're going to be talking about parenting burnout and other things like that. And this is still related, right? So we want to talk about setting boundaries that actually support our energy as parents, that does not drain our energy, right? So, personal boundaries are the limits, guidelines, and rules that you set for yourself, right? Personal boundaries are the limits, the guidelines, and rules that you set for yourself. I love to say that, boundaries are something that should be easy for us to set, right? And I'm saying that because for you to set a boundary, it requires just you. It requires you to say that you want to set a boundary. You don't want people to go, above or beyond this line. You're setting it for yourself, right? So it's just like a line. You draw a line around what is appropriate and what is not appropriate within your relationships. So when we say that within your relationship, your parent-child relationship, friends relationship, family relationship, it's just you being able to say that, okay, yes, this is what is appropriate and this is not appropriate for me when it comes to me, right? So you want to think of a boundary as a line, as the line that you draw around yourself to define where you end and where your child and other people begin, right? It's just like a line that you are drawing for yourself to tell you where it is that you end and where your child or other friends or families, where they begin, right? And we need to know that sustaining and, setting and sustaining these particular boundaries, healthy one, it is actually a skill that needs to be learned, right? This is one of those things that I have put down to say that, yes, we're going to be learning in the community, of course, because it is important. Like we always say that we can't pour from an empty cup, and if we do not set the necessary boundaries, people are going to overstep. People are going to take us for granted. People are just going to come to us anyhow, and they even try to make us guilty about this. So it is a skill that needs to be learned. And if you do not learn it, if you do not put it in place, you are going to feel depleted. You are just going to be in that space whereby you are going to be taken advantage of. You are going to be taken for granted. There's going to be intrusion in your life, right? So one thing that poor boundary does is that if you do not set boundaries, or if your boundaries are poor, you have not tried as much as possible to make that boundary firm to everyone around you. You have not tried as much as you can to make sure that everyone around you understand where they begin in your life. It's going to lead to a lot of things, including resentment, hurt, low self-esteem, anger, and eventually you're going to burn out, right? And that is why it is necessary for you to put these boundaries in place and to hold on firm to it, right? So what clear personal boundary does is that it helps you, it supports that, healthy connection with others. But a lot of the time we feel that, having our own boundary is actually denying our children or people around us, denying them of some things and all of those things. It comes with guilt. But then we need to understand that there are some guilt that will come, but then when you understand that, okay, yes, this is me, prioritizing me so that I can be able to give my best to the people that are actually relying on me, then maybe that guilt is no longer going to be there, right? So it is you that clear personal boundaries, it supports your healthy connection with your children, most importantly, because we're talking about parenting here, with your spouse and with other people around you. So communicating your boundaries is actually like a strength for you in every of your relationship. It is not a weakness. Sometimes the most difficult people for us to actually, give that boundaries for are people that are close to us, because we feel like, I don't want to shun this person. I don't want to be in that space whereby I'm not available for this person and things like that. But then for strangers, you can easily say no and you mean your no. But then you'll find out that those people that actually want to encroach into your boundary are people that are very close to you. And this is why it is necessary for you to put the necessary boundaries in place and to communicate them effectively. Right? So you might find family members trying to react negatively to your boundaries because you've said this, because they know that, okay, when this happens, you can't meet this person here because she's probably busy with her children, she's probably busy with herself and all of those things. You want to have that guilt. And like I said before, it is family members that actually want to encroach into that, privacy, into that boundary. So despite all of their reaction, you need to know that setting clear boundary is still a sign of you showing care for them. It's still a sign of you connecting and communicating with them. And that is what actually puts you in that place of respect. They respect you because they know that they will not just meet you anywhere. They cannot just take your time away from you. Because as a matter of fact, if you are one who actually is in that place whereby you plan your month, you plan your day, you plan your week, then no Dick and Harry should just come and take whatever time or anything from you, because it is already planned. But if you are someone who don't plan, who just have, you are just available for people see you, they feel that, okay, yes, when you call the person, I was listening to a particular, should I say sermon during the week, and a particular cleric was saying that you need to be cast. If you're in that place where they are saying, that boy is a very good boy, or that man is a very good man, immediately you call that man, he's here, he's so this, he's so that. The man said that it is because of your lack of not getting a job that actually make people call you good people, good girls, good boy, good woman, good man. But if you have something you are doing, they will not say that immediately you call her, she's here, or immediately you call him, he's here. But because we want to be in people's good books, we want to be in that place whereby we're giving ourselves to them without even remaining anything for us. We're trying to satisfy them without even being in that place whereby we're considering ourselves. So they say that you don't need to be good to everyone. And the moment you are trying as much as possible to please everybody, you are going to be drained. You are going to be depleted. So once you understand this, then you'll be able to know the boundaries that you should put in place. And if you already have them in place, you will know how to make them effective, that your family members are actually going to understand you and understand your boundaries. Right. So in this session today, we are going to talk about setting healthy boundaries as a parent, and will help you to understand that setting healthy boundaries in parenting is not harsh, but it is a form of love, identity, and, it helps you to identify personal and family drains and gain practical tools to set loving yet firm limits that protect your energy. So in this session, we're going to be talking about how to actually put those, boundaries in place such that you don't feel like it's too harsh, and then you'll be able to understand what drains you as a person, and you gain practical tips to help you to actually set loving boundaries, and you'll still be available for your children. Because when you protect your energy, you parent with more calm, more clarity, more compassion, and still be committed to your own personal growth. This is something that I often say so much, that in your journey of raising your children, you will not become, or your children will not become, your children will not be whole if you yourself, you're not whole. So you need to understand that on your journey, it is about you first before it is about your children. So you need to pay attention to this. The more you understand that when you are able to protect your energy, it helps you to be able to parent from the place of calm. It helps you to have clarity on your journey. It helps you to be able to empathize you can imagine if you are not considering yourself, you are not even showing yourself empathy, then how can you show your children empathy? How can you show the people who depend on you empathy? So you need to know that it is first of all about you, and you'll be able to put all of these things into perspective and still be able to focus on your own personal growth. Right. So what are those signs that you are blurring boundaries as a parent? What are those things that you will be doing or that you might have been doing that you don't even know that you are blurring boundaries for your children? Right. As a parent, the first thing is that you are in that place whereby your children are overly dependent on you. However, they are old. So you have a 10-year-old, you have an 11-year-old, but it still feels like you have toddlers. It still feels like your children are still very young. You are blurring boundaries, because if you have ages of children, even children that are not up to that, they should be able to understand certain things, that this is my responsibility and this is not my parents' responsibilities. But then if you're in that place whereby you have been overly dependent, your children have been overly dependent on you, you have been helicoptering around trying to do the things that your children can do themselves, or can even try to do themselves, even if they are not going to do it perfectly. If you're in that space whereby you are constantly doing that, you are blurring boundaries. You are not making your children understand your boundaries, right? When you feel guilty for doing the things that interest you, so this is something that interests you, this is something that you love to do, is not something that is bad. As a matter of fact, it's something that adds to your energy. But then when you do it, you feel guilty about it. You are blurring boundaries like that. Because like I said, it is you first. You can't pour from an empty cup. Right. Another way you can be blurring boundaries as a parent is that you are disregarding your personal space. You know, there's this guilt that comes with, especially when your children are around you 24/7. You feel that, for me, this is something that I can say because I have experienced it. For about a year, my children were not going to school and they were with me, and I felt that I needed to always be there with them. And whenever it is that I am not, available and I'm not there for them, I feel guilty. But I had to make a rethink that, okay, it's not just, I know this is something that I know, that it's not just about you being around your children. It's about the little time that you have around these children. You make it work. You make it worth it. You make them, they feel connected to you. They feel that you are there. Not just necessarily you being around them, every time. But the moment you start having that guilty conscience that, okay, you're not available for your children, you're not this, you're not that, then you're already blurring boundaries. You're not making your children understand that you should have your own personal space. You should have your own personal time. Like I tell my children, I want my me time. I want my own personal time. And it has been working for me to the extent that they will even be the one telling each other, don't disturb mommy, or mommy is having a personal time, or mommy is sleeping, or mommy is doing this. They will be the one to say it to each other because they understand it, and I have given them their own time. So you don't need to be in that space. It is not the quantity of time. It is actually about the quality of time that you spend with them. So you need to let them know that there's something called personal space, and you need to have it as a parent, right? Another signs that you are blurring boundary as a parent for your children is that you are taking responsibilities for their own action or for their inaction. For example, now your child is upset about something and your child is everywhere. Your child is crying. Then you'll not be in that place whereby you are shouting, you're also screaming. Oh, yeah, stop crying. Close your mouth. Do this, do that. You are personalizing whatever it is that child is feeling. You are blurring boundaries because you are not making your child understand that you are responsible for whatever it is that you feel. You just need to know that you shouldn't act, in a way that it is not thoughtful with whatever it is that you feel. So you need to let your children understand that they are solely responsible for their actions or for their inaction. The moment you start taking their responsibilities as your own, you are blurring boundaries. You are not making them understand what is, you are not making them understand where that line is between my own responsibility and my mother's responsibility or my parents' responsibility. So you are blurring boundaries that way, right? Another thing is that you are struggling to say no and stand on your no. I've given these examples so much, on sessions like this. you already said it, that this thing is what we do in this house, or these are the things that we don't do in this house. But then when your children come to you and, they have, the children will definitely have their ways of asking you something that you said they won't get. They have the way of asking you 1,000,001 times until you give in. But if you are intentional enough, you will know that, no, once you give in once you give in, just once, you will find out that you are blurring boundaries. You are not making your children understand that, yes, this is what it is, and we're going to stick to it. I like to give examples of phones because this is the era that we are now. This is something that parents are struggling with now. They want to be in that space whereby, they want to satisfy their children, or they want to give them whatever it is that they have, so that they will keep quiet. They will not cry. They will not do this. They will not do that. That ideology. But then you need to help them to understand that whatever it is that they feel is solely their own responsibility. It is not yours. And that's why you don't need to always personalize whatever it is that they feel. The moment you start personalizing whatever it is that they feel, they will always take advantage of it, because they will know that it will get to you. So it is important for you not to blow up that boundary. Let them understand that this is your own responsibility and this is my own responsibility. I will be responsible for my action or for my inaction, right? Let them be able to know your no for your no and know your yes for your yes. And of course, with reasons. One thing that I love to say is that one of the templates that was given to us is that when they tell us no, when our parents tell us no, and we ask them why, it makes it to them, it sounds like we're disrespectful. But then it's not disrespect, because it is their own perspective that we use to understand life, just like our own children are using our own perspective to understand life. So they would definitely ask us many whys. So if you're saying no, you should definitely back it up with a reason, not just because you want to say no, not just because it's a no. Because backing it up with reason is what will make children make it make sense to them. Right? So it makes sense to them that, okay, yes, mommy doesn't want us to have it. Mommy is saying no, or daddy is saying yes because of this particular thing. So it is important for us to make that clear so that we do not blur the boundaries for them. Right? Then another thing is that having to bend your values and beliefs and opinions for other people. Like I said from the beginning, you want to be in that space whereby you're always sacrificing. When I was back at home, the only time that I have for myself is weekends, right? Saturdays and Sundays, because of course I was teaching. I go to work from Monday till Friday. And I realized that if we have a family function for Saturday or maybe for Sunday, let's say for Sunday, I must try as much as possible to finish everything that I needed to do on Saturday. If not, the whole of the week that is coming after is going to be a mess. I'll get to work late. I will not be able to wake up early because I will be so tired. And there's going to be, how do I say it? I'll be shifting my work. What I'm supposed to do on Sunday and I'm unable to do it, I'll shift it till Monday. I'll shift it till Tuesday, and it continues like that. And if you have someone who is supportive, or you have someone around you, it's easier. But if it is you, and this is why you need to understand that as someone who is raising a toddler or who has little children, there are some things that you definitely have to say no to. Even if people are going to talk. And that's why we spoke about the concept of trying to please people. It's like a pandemic for us these days. We want to be in that place whereby people will say that, yes, this person is a good person. This person is this person is that. Right? So we need to let people understand that, okay, yes, when it comes to this, these are my values, these are my beliefs. I'm sorry, I'm not going to give in. Either our children, either our friends, either family members, we need to let them know. If there are people who are going to be rational and when we explain to them, they will understand, fine. But if you feel that no matter how you explain, they are not going to get it, so be it. Let it be that way. Right? So another thing is sacrificing your happiness for others, right? Trying as much as possible to put yourself in a place whereby it is not comfortable for you, but still because of the points which we made mention of, because you want to please them, because you want to be in their good books. And there are several other things that you can use to be in people's good books than, your own health, your own mental health, than they tramping on your own boundaries. So this is something that we need to know. And lastly, personalizing your child's emotions. I think I made mention of that. If you're always in that space whereby when your child is cranky, your child is sad, your child is crying, you're also shouting, yeah, keep quiet, yeah, do this, do that. You're just taking whatever it is that is supposed to be for your child. You're personalizing it. You're blurring boundaries like that as a parent, right? So what are those things that drain our energy as parents? We're going to mention it so quickly because we do not have so much time. Like I said, we're going to have a very short session today. So what are those things that drain our energy as parents? When we talk about it, maybe we'll begin to look into it. We'll be able to reflect personally on, okay, yes, for me as a parent, what are those things that actually drain my own energy that I need to start working on? Because before you can actually set boundaries that are effective, you need to be self-aware. You need to know yourself. If you're not self-aware, if you do not know yourself enough, you won't even know where to put boundaries and where not to put boundaries. You won't understand whatever it is that drains you. But when you understand what drains you, you are able to put the boundaries wherever it is that is necessary for you to put the boundaries, right? So for physical ones, they actually, sleep deprivation. The moment you're unable, for me, like, sleep is my therapy. Like I say, I love to sleep. And when I sleep and I wake up, I'm rejuvenated again to actually face the work that I'm supposed to do, right? But if you're in a place whereby you do not get enough sleep, you have this, late nights, you wake up very early in the morning, and you do not try as much as possible to sleep very early at night, there's going to be a problem. Your energy is going to be drained, or you have this interrupted rest, right? Your energy is going to be drained and you won't be able to act like you should act. There's actually a particular topic that I'm trying to put together for parents in the community, right? Energy management. A lot of the time we talk about time management, but then time management, we all have these 24 hours. But then what we actually need to manage is our energy. What are those things that we should do and when we should do it, when our energy is at peak, right? So that's for parents in the community. Right. So we need to know that when you do not have enough rest, when you do not sleep enough, when you are not in that place whereby you are relaxed, you will not be able to definitely give like you're supposed to give. Right. It's because it's going to drain your energy. That's one of the physical things that actually drain energy. Another thing is multitasking all day. You see, one thing is that multitasking is a myth. I won't go deep into it, but we need to know that it's actually a myth because you can't do two things effectively at a time. A lot of the time, we always want to say things like, hi, women are just, created to multitask and they will do it this, they will do it that. Yes, while you can do some things, you feel that you did it perfectly and all of those things. It is taking a toll on your own energy. It is taking a toll on your energy. And what happens is that you are definitely going to transfer aggression. And a lot of the time, that's why we're always in that space whereby we're everywhere when children are just being naturally children. So trying to juggle parenting, work, chores, life, and all of those things is something that can actually drain one's energy. But then we need to understand that there are certain important things that are important to us per time that we should pay attention to. It cannot be balanced. When we hear something like, work-life balance and all of those things, it cannot be balanced. But then we need to understand that, okay, yes, in this season of my life, in this time of my life, this is something that is important to me and I need to take advantage of. This is something that I need to hold on to in this season of my life. Maybe when I transition, my children are older, I have given them enough skills and all of those things. Maybe I can now pay attention to some other things, right? Another thing that drains us is when there is no rest or break, right? Being on duty 24/7 without time to, actually recharge yourself because you feel that you constantly need to be in that place whereby you are giving and there is no boundaries. There is nothing like, okay, yes, this is when I'm going to stop. This time is for me and like that. You're actually going to, drain the whole of your energy. Right. Another thing that drains our energy, we might not think about it, is mess and clutter. Yes. When we have so much clutter, there's something we usually say in Yoruba parlance that And if you definitely see a mad person with lots of things, of course, they have lots of things to carry, right? It's the same thing. One thing that I learned from, from my parents, from my mom most especially, was trying as much as possible to declutter. I declutter a lot. So I declutter, like when children come back from school, maybe after a particular school session, they are at home, they bring their books, they bring everything. We will always want to be in that space whereby we say things like, this thing is going to be useful. This one is going to be useful. Then we keep. Then at the end of the day, the house is so full. There is no space to breathe. There is nothing. So we need to know that when we are in that space whereby there's so much of clutter, there's so much of things, this one will still be useful, this one will still be useful, we'll keep it. We are not giving ourselves that time. We are not giving ourselves that opportunity to breathe. So we need to understand that it is important for us to declutter. Try as much as possible to pick a day with your children, saying, okay, yes, we're clearing out this space. This is the room. We're clearing it out today. We're giving out even clothes that your children are not wearing again. You are not wearing it. They pack them and give it to people. Have that space. Have that space whereby you can actually breathe fresh air. This is something that we do not know that actually drains our energy physically. Because if you are constantly in that place whereby you have lots of things, even the things that are useful to you, you won't be able to access it easily because you have lots of things that are not useful to you, right? So you need to be in that space whereby there's no visual chaos. Yes, it's called there's no visual chaos. This is bombarded. There are books, there are these clothes and everything that are not useful. We need to give them out. If we want to give them out, trash them if they are no longer useful, and make sure that we have that space that is actually clear for us, right? This is something that actually creates mental stress for us when we have so much of clutter around us, right? Another thing is poor nutrition or hydration. We spoke about this before, and that's why I said this session is going to be very short, because if you keep talking about it, it's just going to be like a repetition of what we said, in past weeks, right? So if you missed any of those sessions, you want to go back to actually take a listen to, because we spoke so much about it in the beginning of the month, right? When you skip meals or you rely on caffeine and snacks, this is something that we do as parents also. Still, because we want to be that good parents, we finish cooking, we serve the entire family the food, then we are now taking the burnt part of the food, we're eating the burnt part of the food, because we're good parents, because we want to be tagged good parents, right? We should understand, this is something that we've said before. If you are empty, you can't give. If you're empty, you can't raise a full child. And you want to raise a full child, you need to fill yourself with what is actually necessary. You want to be in that space whereby you fill your own cup first. So you don't want to be in that place whereby you finish cooking a very good meal, you serve the entire family, and there's nothing for you to eat. Then you're now the one using spoon to scratch the down part of the pot. Because of what? Because you want to be that good parent. Because as a matter of fact, if you actually look at it, there's no other reason. There is no other reason. If it means that you let them know that, okay, yes, maybe we didn't gauge the food that we wanted to cook, that we cooked, we didn't gauge it enough, and it's not, it's not enough and all of that, but then we're going to manage it. Everyone is going to eat from this. Let it be like that. Don't be in that place where you suffer yourself because you want to satisfy your children, because you want to satisfy your family members. These are actually things that drains our energy as parents, right? Another thing is overcommitment. They are so overcommitted. They are committed to so many things. Yes, while it is important for us to volunteer for, Islamic organizations, we want to help them, we want to do all of those things, right? We need to know that we shouldn't overcommit. And that's why I always say that the moment you start saying something like din over dunya, you make it look like whatever it is that you're doing in this world, you're not doing it for the sake of Allah. But the moment you understand that even in dunya that I am living, whatever it is that I'm doing it to please my Rabb, my children and my trust, their trust on me, their amana on me, then whatever it is that I do for them, I'm still using it to serve Allah. Then we won't be in that place whereby we keep, we make that statement often. This is something that is very common. So we overcommit. We are in this sisters group. We are in, MSSN Kinikon. We do all of those things and we do not pay attention to the things that actually matter. But then it is easy for you to actually decide that, okay, yes, I am not going to take up this. Maybe later in my life, when my children are old, they're in their university and all of those things, they are not so much dependent on me. Then maybe I will have time for all of these things. But then you need to know that whatever it is that you are doing now, when your children are still young, you need to understand that it is still you serving Allah. And this is what you are using to serve your Rob in this time. So it will not put you in a space whereby you are overcommitting. You're in that place whereby you are doing too much. You are doing too much. At home, you have volunteered for so many things. You want to do this, you want to do that. This is coming. You want to be in that place whereby you volunteer and all of those things. Yes, while all of those things are good, while all of those things are sadaka, you need to also understand that whatever it is that you are doing, when it comes to raising your children, when it comes to teaching them, when it comes to even the work that you do that brings money into your pockets, if you have a good intention towards it, I'm making this money so that I can be able to provide, I can be able to support my husband as a woman, as a man, I can be able to provide for my family. It is also ibadah. It is also an act of worship for you. So you will not be in that space whereby you want to keep, you still hold on to that, hey, doing over doing life. It is not this, it is not this. You understand. So you will not overcommit. You will not commit too much. So if you're not committing too much, you'll still be able to keep that your energy to yourself, right? And the last thing that actually drain your energy when it comes to physical drainage is actually unrealistic routines. You don't have a particular routine, or maybe you even have routines that are not realistic. You have about 10 things on your to-do list, for example, and you know quite well that you are raising children, you have so many other things to do, you will not be able to do certain things. But because you want to be in that space whereby you finish, you're not realistic about the routine that you are setting for yourself. Right? Your schedules, you have schedules that do not allow you to breathe. So it is something that will actually take from your energy. So you need to check all of these things, right? So for social and relational energy drainers are actually, lack of support. You see, one thing that we have underestimated in our time is actually support. We have underestimated it so much that we feel that it is not important. But truth be told, it is very, very important. I love to say that the village that we had growing up is totally different from the village that we have in this 21st century. And you need to take advantage of the village that you have right now in this 21st century. The village that we had back then requires that maybe we were living in an extended family. We had our mother, or maybe we have our mother-in-law, we had sisters of our husband, and all of those people actually helping us to do a lot of things. But then we have found ourselves in a place whereby it is actually me and my family in a 3-bedroom flat, and we're just doing our thing and things like that. And that support is not there. You actually be drained as a parent. You are parenting without a village. You are parenting without people that you can actually talk to, ask questions, make them, know from them, okay, yes, are you treading the right path? Or it could just be something as little as, okay, my child is exhibiting this. What do you think I can do? Okay, this is what works for me. This might not work for you because of this. You don't have people that you rub minds together. It's actually going to drain you. So you need to understand that you need to put those things in place to be able to understand that, okay, yes, these are the boundaries that I should set. So you won't be in that space whereby you keep giving without even considering yourself. Whereby you're in that space whereby you don't even have anything that is, anything that is saying that, yes, this is the line. Right? So this is something that will definitely drain your energy as a parent. Right? Another thing is toxic relationship. People who criticize more than they help. You will definitely see all of these things, because of what we have these days. We have technology, we have, our smartphones, we get so many information, we get so much information. But then what we need on our journey is not information. What we need is actually the wisdom and that knowledge to be able to be in that place where we want to be. So it's not enough that we keep getting information. It's not enough that we go to Google, we go to ChatGPT and put everything that is wrong with us, and we are going to be overwhelmed. We're going to be overwhelmed about the information that we're actually going to get from there. So it is important for us to know that when we were in that space whereby we're being criticized, whereby we feel that we are not enough, we're seeing other parents that are doing way more, they are doing lots of things, or you're even seeing your children's classmates, they are doing better than your children, you don't understand what it takes, you don't know what you can do, you are definitely going to be drained, because as parents, it's so natural for us to think about all of those things, right? You're feeling judged. There's this isolation. There's no adult connection of meaningful conversations. In these past weeks, I've spoken so much about making relationship, about making friends. The mistakes that some parents made back then was actually being in that place whereby they choose their children to be their friends, and they say something like, oh, my children are my friend. This is something that is also very common. If you are still in that space whereby your children are your friend, you are going to actually give your children the mental things that they do not even need to deal with at their age. And it's not going to help you either. So you want to make friends with those that you're on the same level with, those that have the same values with you, that can also be a support system for you. This is something that is very important, right? Constant availability. So constant availability is something that can actually drain your energy. Everyone comes to you. I was listening to somebody's, journey sometimes back, and the person was saying that I didn't know something was wrong with me because I was this person that everyone comes, and that's why for me, even as a coach, I tell people, before I'm a coach, I am a mother first. I have a community whereby I can table things that I feel is not going well. I can say that, okay, yes, because if I am not careful, being a coach makes people come to me and send questions, and I will reply, and I do all of those things. I'm in that place whereby I'm constantly available for other parents, but then the question is, who is available for me? And that's why we cannot overemphasize the importance of having a support system, having that community that you can lean on to say that, okay, yes, I'm getting this from this. Even when my energy is down, I can easily come here, and there are ways that words can actually lift you, and you feel like, yes, I'm energized again to face whatever it is that is to come. Right. So if you're constantly that go-to person, and you have no one to, you don't have that, person or people to actually go to, it's actually going to drain you. Because a lot of the time, what happens is that the people that are coming to you, they feel that you do not have a problem, especially when it relates to whatever it is that you're a professional at. They feel that everything about you is going smoothly. Right. But then if you're in that space whereby, as the mother in the house, as the woman in the house, of course, your children are coming to you, they're coming to you, and you don't have a place whereby you go to actually refill your cup, there's actually going to be, there's going to be a problem of you, what's the word now? You are going to be drained. Your energy is going to be drained. And don't forget, we said last week that the things that you need to protect is actually your mind, your energy, and your soul. You need to protect it so much because this is something that is very important on your journey. Right. So now, what are those things that you need to actually put in place? What are the steps that you actually need to set boundaries with families and friends? The last part that we spoke about is actually, talking about the things that drains our energy. Right. And this is also very important so that we know wherever it is that we need to draw the line, right? So now let's talk about the steps that we need to take to actually set healthy boundaries with our children, with other friends and family members. The first thing we need to do is that we need to identify how we want to interact with people and what is okay, what is not okay for us. So identify how you want to interact and what is okay and what is not okay. What do I mean by this? When you identify your own need, when you know that, okay, yes, this is a need for me, like it is a non-negotiable, it's different from this is a want. You might actually want something and you are not in that place whereby you need it so much. But then when you understand that, it's part of self-awareness. When you understand that this is a need for me, it is not just a want, it is a need, I need it. It's going to be a part of your non-negotiable. For me, for example, my need is rest. My need is sleep. So it's a non-negotiable for me. And my children understand this because it's something that I communicate to them. And for them, it's also the same thing for them. If there's something that we know that, okay, yes, this is the time to do this. And it is time they feel that, okay, yes, I need to rest. I give them that time because I understand that they are always in that place whereby they are energized when they have gotten enough rest. So what is that thing that is a need for you? What is that thing? How do you want to be interacted? What is that need for you? Your needs are just as important as your loved one's needs. Who help us put that in the comment section? Your needs are just as important as your loved one's needs. So the moment you're saying, my child needs this, my child needs this, my child needs this, and you're neglecting yourself, there's going to be a problem. So you need to have that boundary of, yes, this is what I need, not just what I want. The moment you're able to identify what you need, you are in that space whereby you're able to set boundaries that are going to work for you. You need to know that, okay, yes, food for me is non-negotiable. I must eat very good food. I must eat balanced, because this is one thing that makes me effective on my journey. So you'll be able to put yourself in that place whereby you get that thing that is a need for you, irrespective of what happens. So that is you making sure that you have a clear boundary that, okay, yes, for mommy, yes, this is non-negotiable for this person. Your friends are able to understand that, yes, this is non-negotiable for this person, right? Another thing is that you want to directly and clearly communicate your boundary. A lot of the time we feel that people should understand and they should know now. They should know that, but no, they don't know, because we're not the same. What is a need for me might not be a need for you. So you need to clearly communicate it to your children, to your friends, to your family members, or to people around you. One of the things that, my family, yes, I would say that my family, my husband family, one of the things they know is that apart from the fact that I'm spending time with my children, they know that when I was back home, my work is very important, because my work is something that it was a passion for me. It's something that relieves me of so many, things. So they understand, they know, they will tell you, I know you cannot go home and meet her at home. Yeah, of course, definitely she will go to work. And it's not something that is being forced. So I have been able to put myself in a place where I communicate this very much. So you need to be in that place whereby you directly and clearly communicate your boundary. You need to be specific. So effective boundary setting involves confirming the person receives that message. Let them know. Don't just assume that they should know, or don't just assume that they know. Even if you have spoken about it before, you want to let them know that it hasn't changed. This is how it is. When it comes to my time, this is the time that I can sacrifice for you. This is the time that I can give to you. But when it comes to this time, no, it is not, it is not negotiable, right? You need to be in that place whereby they are able to accurately summarize whatever it is that you have told them. This is especially to your children, because of course they are children. You don't want to assume that, yes, they know that this. You need to let them know that, yes, when mommy is resting, or when mommy is doing this, or when I am doing this, this is this. You want to be able to communicate to them effectively that this, yes, there are times that we feel that, hey, this child does not listen. I told them before you, but you need to continually teach them. You need to be that teacher for your children. You need to continually tell them that, no, this is the non-negotiable in our house. We don't, when it is time for this, we do not watch screen. When it is time for this, we go to bed. When it is time for this, this is what we do, right? We need to constantly be in that place whereby we communicate it, not assuming that they know it. The third one is that you need to determine effective and respectful ways to respond when your boundaries are crossed. So it's not going to be a case of, yes, because your boundary is crossed, you want to. I often tell people that 2 wrongs does not make a right. For the fact that somebody has crossed your boundary does not mean that you should be violent. And the truth is that a lot of the time we're not violent with outsiders. We're not violent with people who are not even, in inside. We are mostly violent with our children, with the people that are vulnerable. And that's why I think I posted it some days back, like, yes, this person is a very good person. This person has a very good characteristics and all of that. Will your children be able to say the same thing? Because they will be the ones to say what exactly it is. They are the ones experiencing you in the home. Right, so you want to be in that place whereby you respectfully and effectively communicate it. Yes, this is the boundary. If it has to do with your children and you know that, yes, consequences are something that you use and is very effective to you, you want to put it down for them. You want to put it down in a way that they understand that, okay, yes, we have crossed these boundaries, and once this boundary is crossed, then there's definitely a consequence for it. Right, so you want to attach a consequence if your boundary is violated. Right? What happens if others cross the line? You need to let them know. A lot of the time we say that our children do not listen. Sometimes we want them to do something, but then we're not letting them know that, okay, yes, this will be it might not be a consequence that is so heavy. It might just be something natural, a natural consequence. So what now talking about is not just about you, yes, we're talking about the boundaries that actually support your own energy. But then if you're in that space whereby you are continually shouting, yelling, being violent and all of those things, your energy is being consumed by all of those things. And does it really matter? Is it really important? Does it serve you? you want to think about it, right? Remind and redirect, especially when you have younger children. Your family might not believe you will, set and stick to boundaries, especially if you have been in that place whereby the boundaries have been blurry from the beginning. They don't understand it. So even if you want to be in that place whereby you put it down again, they might not take it seriously. But then you also need to be consistent with it, right? So they will probably test them, especially when it comes to teenagers. I've gotten lots of feedbacks about, teenagers wanting to test your test whatever it is that you put in place. This is something that is normal, especially if you have been in that place whereby you've been a yeller, you've been shouting, you've been beating and all of those things, and you're trying as much as possible to change. They will step on your toes. They will do certain things that will make you want to go back to your old ways. That's the testing limit. But then it is from your consistency that you'll be able to communicate to them well enough that, yes, I mean what I am saying. But then whatever it is that happens, you have to face the consequences. But you don't always want to be in that space whereby you are being violent or you are being irrational. Right. So you want to think about it and put the necessary consequences. You want to put them in place. Right. Another thing is that you want to offer a warning. Boundary violation are not always intentional or malicious, but then you need to be in that place whereby you offer a warning. Yes, you did this and, you did this at so time, but then I'm going to give you this. I understand that maybe you do not mean to do it, depending on whatever it is that the situation is, because you want to be in that place whereby your energy is kept. Your energy is, your energy level is not low. You are not in that place whereby you keep dishing out. You keep being in that place whereby your energy level is reducing and you are not able to refill it, right? So you want to follow through whatever consequences that you have put in place. And the last thing is that you want to learn to say no and mean that no. A lot of the time, we are not in that place whereby we say no and we mean it. And don't forget that I said from the beginning that children would definitely want to test, they want to test your boundaries. They want to test your boundaries. But the moment you give in, what you are doing is that you are blurring that boundary. And the moment you are blurring that boundary, that communication is not effective enough for them to take it as a no. But then when you are consistent, when you say your no and you mean it and you are able to follow through, and you're not just acting based on your feelings. I was giving an example to some group of people that I was talking. I think I have made that example before, that you are in that space where you have told your child, okay, yeah, you will not get this thing because no, you won't get it. Maybe it's a candy. It's too early. You won't get it. But then your child is in that place where your child is crying. Your child is whining. I think I made mention of this in my ebook, Taming Toddler's Tantrum. Your child is whining about it, is crying, because that child knows that if I shout, my mommy does not want to hear noise and all of those things, she will give in. So you want to constantly be in that place whereby whenever that child is crying, you want to, child, take, and stop shouting, go, leave this place. You are not clear enough. Your no is not sounding no. Your no is sounding no, yes. And that definitely is confusing your children. So you need to be able to learn how to say no, and not just to your children, even to friends, even to people around you. They need to understand that, yes, it is a no for this person. Whatever, no matter what you want to say, it is part of you sticking with your values. It is part of you sticking with your principles. Because if you do not stick with it, you'll find yourself in a place whereby your energy is definitely going to be taken. You keep giving everyone everything and nothing is left for you. This is something that is very important, right? So, and like I said before, you need to be able to set it without guilt. Guilt often follows when you say no. So when you say no, there's every possibility that you feel guilty and I should have given, I should have done. But you need to know that guilt fails, but burnout is going to linger. So you want to be in that place whereby you do not feel guilty after you make your decisions, right? Boundaries should be clear, should be consistent, and should be communicated calmly, like I said, right? So you want to say something like, yes, I would help you with your homework, but then I need to rest. Maybe when I finish, when I'm okay, after I have rested, I'm going to help you with it, right? Or, okay, I can see that things are not going quite well now. Let's talk about this tomorrow, right? This is you setting your boundaries in a way that you're not in that place whereby you're anxious, you're agitated, and you're losing energy, right? So boundaries will teach children emotional regulation and respect for others' needs. This is something that you need to know. So the more you model it, the more your children are also able to understand it. The more they are able to also say no and mean it. right? But then we need to also be in that place whereby we can receive no from our children. This is something that I've spoken about so much. In conclusion, boundaries are not walls. They are bridges that protect love from turning into resentment. They help you give without losing yourself in the process. So when you talk about boundaries with your children, it teaches them respect. They learn that your time, your rest, and your space matter. Right? It models self-respect and emotional regulation when it comes to your children. So their children, apart from the fact that you are protecting your own energy, your children are also learning from you. With your friends and extended families, boundaries guard your peace. You learn to say not now without feeling guilty, and yes when you really mean it sincerely. Right? With yourself, boundaries remind you that rest is part of responsibility, not the opposite of it. When you set boundaries from a place of love, not fear or frustration, you show your children that healthy relationship. You show your children what healthy relationship looks like. And when you protect your energy, you give them the gift of a calmer, a more connected version of you. So you need to be in that place whereby you rest, you pause, you protect your peace, and you make sure that you have enough boundaries that actually helps you to have enough energy to show up for your loved ones, right? And this is where we're going to be ending this session. Don't forget that the LLP community is still open for registration. In few days, today is 24, in few days, the early bird offer is coming to an end, whereby you won't be able to pay 50,000 naira again, and it's now going to go back to its original price of 65,000 naira. However, you can actually book a slot with just 10,000 or 5,000 naira, and you can pay up before the end of December. That's before the beginning of the activities in the community, right? So if you are able to register, you would not you are taking advantage of the early bird offer, and you won't be paying 65,000 naira. You'll still be paying 50,000. But then if you're unable to book your slots now until the price reverts, then I'm sorry, it's going to be 65,000. So you want to book your slot before the end of this month, because after the end of this month, the price is going to revert. This is something that has been created for you. Like I have always said, this is where you need to be, right? This is where you need to be. And whatever it is that has been put in place, don't forget that even before being a coach, I am also a mother, and I understand whatever it is that it is hurting. So whatever it is that have been put in place is to help you to be able to parent, not just from the place of, yes, I'm a parent, but from the place of knowledge, from the place of wisdom, and from the place of showing up as you should show up. And also you raising your children while not neglecting yourself, because the growth of your children is so much dependent on your growth. You cannot give whatever it is that you do not have. The only thing you can give is what you have, including raising your children the way you should raise them, including the knowledge that you want to pass on to them. If you do not have it, you will definitely not be able to give it. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Yes, it's the end of today's Friday live. See you again next week Friday, inshallah. Please don't come alone whenever it is that you're coming next week Friday. Come with other parents, come with parents around you. Let them also come and benefit from all of this session. This is something that is going to help you on your journey, because you definitely have a circle of people who listen to the same thing that you listen to, and they are able to understand why you do certain things, right? I hope that this benefits everyone who has listened to me today. Thank you so much for joining me, and see you again next week Friday, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.